Hello ladies and gentlemen, Willie here. Picture the scene, right? The announcement for TBC has happened, the testing's been done on the beta, it's all squared off and ready to go. Launch day comes around, you fight your way through the inevitable server queues only to when you log on to get ganked on a PvP server, or probably lag out and get teleported to Stone Talon or Westfall on PvE. And I'm betting PvP servers are going to be such a fiesta with how many guilds are going to be salty about all the Dispel drama that's happened throughout the duration of Classic. Imagine how many people are going to make the goal of existence to gatekeep the Dark Portal and quest NPCs at the start of the expansion. So I guess what I'm asking is, how do you reckon launch is going to go for TBC? Even back in 2007 when it launched, it wasn't exactly smooth at all. World servers were being down, laggy fiestas, rollbacks, you name it, it happened. It was a bit of a strange decision for Blizzard to move the expansion forwards in this way. I mean, they had already done the AQ40 opening event, which encouraged every single player on every single server to be in one zone at the same time, but especially for the launch of an expansion, well, player numbers were already higher than they were back during then, on top of the hype that would have been drummed up by getting something new. Then again, the Dark Portal is just very iconic, and maybe it was a case of this just makes too much sense in the lore, so even if it's a fiesta, we're gonna do it. And you can see how Blizzard in time learned from this and separated players out at the start of the expansion. Think in Wrath the Lich King we had Howling Fjord or Borin Tundra. In Kata we had Vashir or Mount Hyjal. In Mists of Pandaria we started at either ends of the Jade Forest. And in Warlords of Draenor, yeah, garrisons. That didn't go so well actually, did it? Even though the Horde and Alliance are in separate zones again. I mean, think back to some of the launches that we've had in Classic so far. Do any of you guys remember the launch of Blackwing Alert or even ZG on those first few days? The servers could absolutely not even remotely handle the volume of players that were being thrown in there. I've got some of the footage of Blackrock Mountain still of the launch of Blackwing Alert, and it's just insane. There were literally thousands and thousands of people in the same zone at the same time, and this was back on PvP as well. We actually had a full-on server crash, which teleported us back from the Orb all the way to Loch Modan in that passage that connects that and Searing Gorge. Oh, and yeah, the Orb in general, I don't miss doing that. And sort of just in general in Classic, these servers don't have a good track record of, well, accommodating the size of the servers that we have nowadays either. Even just your Wednesday or Sunday world buff drops in the evening are enough to grind the server down to a halt. And with the Burning Crusade launch, we're going to have everybody in Blasted Lands have to get them through the Dark Portal, and then everybody is in Hellfire Peninsula. So we're not just having this problem once, it's going to be sort of in 3 different separate potential issues that will be bottlenecks. But I suppose, let's say you get through the queues, you get through the portal, the Alliance head off to the left to their Flightmaster, Horde to the right onto On a Hold or Thrallmar to get your quests and start making a start on the new expansion. And then you'll take a step outside of your quest hub and there'll be 2 guys per Hellboar spawn. Each plank of wood or bit of metal for that one quest is going to have 2 people camping every single spawn. We're talking 6 starting zones worth of people, and we're cramming all of them into one zone. Just imagine the sheer volume of people that are going to be in Hellfire on day 1. I guess a lot of people are going to be coming up with creative ways to circumvent this very real expected issue. Will the coin quest on ZG Island still give XP? I mean, they work a few levels before 60, if they still work after 60, this could be one of the biggest slept on moneymakers in the entire game. We'll find out in the beta. A similar thing with the Karaji Lord's Insignia in AQ40. They'll be sitting in your bank collecting dust and taking up space. They don't do anything useful after you've got your rep to Exalted with Brood and Nozdormu. But if they do end up giving XP, they could be a very nice little way to start your journey off. What about dungeons though? Surely those are going to be the relief valve for everybody piling into the new zones. And remember earlier on in Classic, we now have that cap of how many dungeons can be accessed per day, which is 30. You know what's funny about this change? Pretty much exactly what they suggested here was something that was actually in an April Fool's. And of course there's still only 5 dungeons per hour, so there might be some big brain mathing out on the beta, which dungeon gets you the most value in XP per time invested at what level bracket. Also, I have this feeling the dungeons in Hellfire Peninsula are going to be kind of unplayable with the amount of instances running at the same time. I'd be willing to bet the best thing you can do is come up with a strategy to hit level 62 as possible and just get out of Hellfire Peninsula as a top priority. Alternatively, just start in some of the dungeons in Zangarmarsh. You should be able to get in there at level 60. And if you're decked out in tier 3 gear, they ain't gonna be a problem, believe me. What about if you never go through the Dark Portal at all and just keep on doing dungeons in Classic? I imagine an ideal comp will be mathed out on the beta depending on which patch we release on, but we're certainly going to have prop paladins, and even just a holy paladin and some prop gear is going to be doing some real solid AoE threads. Perhaps people completely avoid all the Dark Portal issues and the lag and don't even touch the zone. Maybe park a few of your summoning alts there a few days in advance, so once things do quieten down and a lot of people have already gotten through, you can get your characters straight over there. In the meantime, there's plenty of endgame level dungeons in Classic which are still going to be granting XP for some time. Obviously it would be less XP, but you're only missing out on XP really. If you're grinding that hard early on, you're probably wearing a lot of gear from Naxxramas and you wouldn't be getting upgrades from normal dungeons anyway. And then as soon as you're level 62 or something, have your summoning alts get you over there and then go straight on into Outland. I've got a feeling that summoning alts are going to be seeing a lot of use early on still. For me personally, I'm not really into the whole living inside of dungeons thing. Back during the start of Classic, I just leveled up regularly. I went around the zones. I knew I wanted to see Westfall, Red Ridge Mountain, Stranglethorn Vale. I just took the game as the intended way of playing it, I suppose. But for the Burning Crusade, I would quite like to, you know, be able to play the game, and I don't really think there's going to be much of a choice in the matter in the open world. Well, for a short space of time anyway. But that's TBC, right? It has a linear questing. You go from Hellfire to Zangarmarsh, to Terracar, to Nagrand, and so on. With Classic, everyone started all over the place and then got spread out pretty quickly as well. On top of layering, of course. Surely it's going to be coming back for the Burning Crusade, unless Blizzard has some kind of secret new tech that can replace it, like, I don't know, sharding or something. I get used to the idea of having a lot of layers for, well, potentially a very long time, depending on how many people stick around or just come back for the expansion. In any event, when it comes to the TBC launch, I'm expecting a complete fiesta. I really don't know how they're going to get it to work well, not only because of the server sizes, the layering issues, with how players react towards games nowadays, but the server's track record for completely falling over when there's enough players thrown at them simultaneously. So whilst, yeah, I don't really have the most bright outlook on it, it should be one of those things you only have to experience one time. At least it'll be memorable, right? Whether that ends up being memorable in a good or a bad way, that one remains to be seen. Maybe I'm giving them a bit of benefit of the doubt because I personally experienced a pretty good launch for Classic. Who knows if I'll get lucky twice in a row with my server choice. At least I'll be on PvE this time as well, because TBC and PvP servers at launch, let's just say I've got a few more things to say about that in a video coming soon. Anyways, what do you reckon? Do you have any plans to circumvent all the rush at launch? And what do you think Blizzard are going to do to try and alleviate some of the pressure they're no doubt going to be experiencing? You can let me know below. As always, thank you so much for watching and listening in, and I'll see you all in the next one very soon. If you like what you see, do give the video a like and subscribe, as there will be plenty more to come. Thank you guys all so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one.